Stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mublet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
Yeah, it's just so depressing when you know how many people was against our Brexit. Because it was our Brexit. They was just put in a position that they should have just pushed it through instead of going against the will of the people. They're no friends of ours. None of them are friends of ours, the 17.4 million of us who voted to leave the EU. Without strings attached, nothing. It didn't say it on that ballot. It said leave or remain. That was it. So what has this been all about? Because they didn't want to leave in the first place. They didn't want to leave. But we, the sovereign people, they're not sovereign. We're the sovereign people. We said what we wanted, and they've gone against us. Basically, what they've said is, really, democracy's dead. You know, we don't want. It's pointless you voting anymore because we won't stand by and let you have your vote, and we won't abide by the people's vote. That's what they're all saying. As I say, that's why I've been rather despondent this week. I haven't been too good in myself as it is, but this just lays heavy on myself because myself and many of us, and it's including Dave, works hard during, before the Brexit to make sure that it went forward. None of us realised at that time, when it was a total victory, we realised how big this was. The world was celebrating on our behalf. Well, look where we are. Look where we are. It's a shame. It's a betrayal. Can't say nothing else about these people. I don't want to even call them people. They're a scourge. You know, how dare they? But they think they're going to go back to their constituency. Well, I did vote, but we don't want to hear your excuses. You stood against our vote. You stood against us, the people. You'll never be forgiven for that, no matter what positions you ever get in life. We won't ever let you forget what you've done, because it's not about myself and 17.4 million people. It's about the future. It's about the generations. So we find this a very bitter pill, what you've created. You've created this. You create this chaos, this madness. Boris Johnson said, he said something about the Parliament, something about them all being crazy or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but
out of control, Jeff.
I think I can understand where he's coming from, because I think we all feel that way. It's a shame. It's a shame. Look, I love my country. I do not love the politicians that say that they are, you know, they do things on our interest. This is nothing to do with our interest. This serves their own common purpose. It only serves them and the people who they serve. That's it. The powers be, the elitists, the globalists, it serves their purposes. And of course we, the sovereign people, will be thrown under the bus because the 1%ers, or whatever you want to call them, they've looked like they've got their way. But you know what? As I say, Dave, it's not over until the fat lady sings. And she's really getting pissed off with you know. Anybody asks her to sing at the end. That poor, she's really getting fed up with it now, Dave. But no,
well, I can believe it,
I'm making flippancy, but if only...
I can believe it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if only you felt a way, and I know you probably do, because I'm feeling really despondent. But I've always been a born optimist, but it's just to think of the betrayal of you, the great people out there, that really upsets me. I take this to heart. I really take this to heart. So there you go. I'm telling you how I feel. And I know you probably feel the same. Now, probably it's not making any difference how you feel, because everybody's feeling depressed about it. And you're not alone. You're not alone.
Oh no.
I know, because I felt it this week. But we are. Don't forget who we are. Our bulldog spirit is who we are. So no matter what they throw at us, we will prevail, and they will fail. At the end, they will fail, we will prevail. There you go. This is a new slogan. They will fail,
nice,
we will prevail. Hashtag. How about that, Dave? That's a good hashtag, isn't it? Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, it is, Jeff. It is. Yeah. Now, this is how hard these Ramoners are willing to fight to keep the UK in the EU. And they don't understand they're shooting themselves in the foot. I'm just going to read the headline and bullet points of this next article that really inspired the name of the show in a way, at least on the UK side. And this comes from the 26th, all right, from yesterday. Here is the headline, all right? Now just check this out, listeners. Remainer MPs are, quote, plotting to force a second referendum vote as early as next week, while dithering Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn blocks Boris Johnson's demands for an election. That's the headline. Now, we got 3 bullet points. MPs will use similar tactics used to force the PM to ask for a Brexit delay to plot. Second bullet point. Comes as the PM urged Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn to, quote, man up, end quote, and back plan. Third bullet point. Brexit process now effectively on hold while the Labour leader makes up mind. Now, what all that means, guys, is that they're going to keep on, turning any Brexit bills into Christmas trees and adding their second referendum crap and all this kind of garbage so that we keep on getting to an impasse and there isn't a Brexit. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to keep on fighting it until I suppose until they think they can fake up an election so that they can win. But at this point, Jeff, I really don't think that anyone who doesn't back a Brexit stands that good a chance of being elected, unless, of course, they're in a completely leftist.
No wonder they're hanging
right,
it out.
yeah.
No wonder they're trying to pass it along and dilly-dally along the way. Simply they know they're going to have the biggest crushing defeat ever in their history. So it's okay putting off the inevitable, but there will be a general election called, whether you like it or not. That will happen.
Has to happen.
And they will
Has
be
to happen sooner or later.
Right. Dave, could you hold the fort for me for a few minutes? I've got some food that I was doing.
I certainly can, Jeff.
And I'll be right back with you. So I hope you don't mind, brother. Let me pass the reins.
Not at all.
Let me relinquish the reins for you to use, Dave. Over to you, brother.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? While Jeff's taking care of us, it's a hungry job doing this show. Yes, it is. Now, while Jeff's doing that, I just want to remind people. Okay, Halloween obviously is coming up on the 31st, And we both want to remind people, it's in the slides, okay, black cats, all right? They're just animals with black fur, okay? There's nothing spooky about them. There's nothing magical about them. There's nothing otherworldly about them. They're just cats with black fur and actually really nice personalities. So, from us to you, okay, if you happen to be listening out there and you think that doing something to hurt a black cat on Halloween makes you cool, you're an ass. Don't do it. Leave the cats alone. Have a happy Halloween. And oh, by the way, if you happen to see a black cat crossing your path, you know what that means? That means it's going somewhere. Doesn't mean anything else. Doesn't mean you're going to have bad luck, good luck, any kind of luck like that. It just means the cat is going someplace. Leave it alone. Okay? We're not for animal abuse on this show, and we never will be. Now, that's one albatross. The Parliament is one albatross around the necks of the people of the UK. I want to clue you guys in on another albatross that is around the necks of the people of a part of the United States, in Florida. Okay. Now, I did a program in March of last year on this guy, and this individual was the sheriff in South Florida at the time of a school shooting, and he came under a lot of scrutiny. And we're going to play part of the show that I did after we played this report here, which is from the 24th, okay, from 3 days ago, all right? And this was brought to my attention, by the way, I have to mention this, by Ken McClinton of TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network. And you guys should go to his YouTube page. He's got some stuff there. And visit TECN on the web, and you can get his show, by the way, live in there. And he has other programs on his network as well. And he's, we're trying to work out to where he can be with us, or we can be with him on his great network. All right. His personal show comes on at 9:05 p.m. Monday through Friday. So do check it out. 9:05 p.m. Eastern. That would be 2:05 a.m. Eastern in the UK. At least it'll be that way once our clocks sync back up. Okay, you're going to have to do a little magic before that. But let's start with this report, guys. This is from a local TV station in Florida, and this one is one you need to hear about. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show.
Now at 11, Scott Israel voted out of office. The Florida Senate rebuffing a recommendation to give the suspended sheriff his job back. The 9-month legal and political showdown ending with a major defeat for Scott Israel tonight. It's a victory for Governor Ron DeSantis, as well as many families in Parkland who wanted Israel out. There's a lot of passionate reaction tonight. Let's begin with CBS 4's Carrie Codd, who is live in Tallahassee. Carrie?
Elliot, in the end, the vote in front of the Senate was 25-15, and there was some drama. 3 Democratic senators, including one from South Florida, voted along with a majority of Republicans to remove Israel. Also, there was one Republican senator who decided to vote to reinstate Israel because he said he was concerned about a dangerous precedent being set.
Scott Israel is hereby removed from the position of sheriff of Broward County.
And with that, Florida senators spoke. A majority of them agreed that former Broward Sheriff Scott Israel should be officially removed from his job.
For me, it was a vote of my conscience.
Democratic Senator Annette Taddeo from Miami was one of 3 Democrats to vote to remove Israel. She said it boiled down to listening to the wishes of the Parkland families, several of whom watched the Senate proceedings from the gallery.
Every single parent in this whole state, ever since Parkland, every time we drop off our kids at school, we hug them just a little bit tighter, and we know that we're scared, and there has to be accountability.
Families of Parkland victims agreed.
With my daughter being shot and killed at Stoneman Douglas High School, I wanted truth, justice, and accountability, and today we received some accountability.
Governor Ron DeSantis suspended Israel earlier this year, citing his handling of the Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood airport shooting and the Parkland shooting, as well as criticizing the active shooter policy that Israel changed, giving deputies discretion on whether to engage an active shooter.
So when it mattered most, during those precious minutes when a weapon was being fired and lives were being lost, when it mattered most, everyone wearing a BSO uniform failed.
But several Democratic senators said the true blame lies with former BSO Deputy Scott Peterson, who stood outside the freshman building while students, teachers, and staff were murdered.
Peterson received training, and he was prepared. He was armed, and he was supposed to go in. But instead, he did nothing.
Republican Senator Tom Lee took a different stance. He called Israel an unpopular character, but said DeSantis' decision to remove Israel was prosecutorial overreach. And he fears what this could mean for other sheriffs in Florida.
There is grave concern among law enforcement that what we are doing here today is anti-law enforcement.
Israel's attorney, meanwhile, said this vote hinged not on the law, but on politics.
I think the people should be outraged that this process was done to take away their vote.
Families of the Parkland victims believe the most important thing the Senate did on Wednesday is protect public safety.
This failure and this problem within the entire Broward County Sheriff's Office under Mr. Israel was exposed in Parkland, but it could have happened to any community while he was in charge of the Sheriff's Office. They need to understand that this removal helps make all of us safe in Broward County.
Israel released a statement after the vote. In part of it, he addressed the Parkland victims' families. He said, "My poor choice of words and inartful tone in the days following the Parkland murders caused them pain. I am deeply, deeply sorry for that, and I will be for the rest of my life." In another part of the statement, he said, "Tonight I want the people in Broward County to know that I came here to fight, to make good on my promises to you, and to finish the job you entrusted me to do. Despite this power grab, that fight will continue." Israel has said he will run for re-election in 2020. His attorney said he will look into any other possible legal avenues to fight this removal. Finally, Governor DeSantis released a brief statement saying he hopes that the Senate's decision brings a measure of relief to the Parkland families. Live in Tallahassee, Kerry Codd, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Kerry, thank you.
And there you go, guys. Welcome back to the English Spencing Radio Show with the host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. And while Jeff tucks into his food, I just want to remind people again of the title, which is Albatross. That's the title of this show. Now, what that basically means is that some of these people, you just can't get rid of them. All right? They don't want to go away. And this guy, even after the egregious leadership that he showed as president of Broward, or as sheriff of Broward County, thank God he didn't run everything. He still wants to run again in 2020 next year and take his position up again and put more people in danger. And I'm going to play you guys 3 parts. This is from the Unpleasant Blind Guy show that I did on him. It was called Dark Star. Now, if you want to hear the whole thing, you can go to Spreaker.com and look for the Unpleasant Blind Guy Dark Star, and you'll find the whole episode. But I'm going to play you these 3 parts now. Jeff has agreed to let me do this, and this will give you a better idea. And trust me, guys, you guys in the UK, you will see a kind of fellow feeling about this, because yes, Islam is involved in here. All right, and I'll say to Jeff, because Jeff, I know you're muted. You may want to call back in because it's at 22 after. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and play this first part of what I discussed on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. All right, and here you go, guys. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show. This will be about 9 minutes, 45 seconds. Here you go.
Let me ask you a question. Has the progressive left ever given an inch on anything? No, they haven't. For them, it's ever forward. Don't give an inch. And keep on until you reach your goal. And their goal is to disarm the American citizen. I proved that in my show called Dupes. Go back and check it out. It's at the Unpleasant Blind Guy page on Spreaker.com. We're talking about, of course, quote-unquote, Sheriff Scott Israel. And I'm going to reveal some things to you that you're not going to be hearing many other places. And as I usually try to do, I'm going to be providing background documentation. That's going to be on social media at UBG Contact on Twitter. That's where you can contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, and a Megador on Gab. Now first I want you to take a listen to part of this Jake Tapper CNN interview of quote-unquote Sheriff Israel. That's part of a video that was published by CBS Miami on February the 25th, 2018. Now if you want to go looking for this one, the headline on it is, Facing Criticism Over Parkland Shooting, Broward Sheriff Says, Of Course I Won't Resign.
Florida State Representative Bill Hager from Boca sent a letter to the governor of Florida, Rick Scott, yesterday asking him to remove you for negligence of duty and incompetence. Here's what he wrote, quote, an investigation by Sheriff Israel into the unfathomable inaction of these deputies will do nothing to bring back the 17 victims. The sheriff was fully aware of the threat this individual presented to his community and chose to ignore it. What's your response, and will you resign?
It was a shameful letter. It was politically motivated. I never met that man. He doesn't know anything about me, and the letter was full of misinformation. I wrote a letter back to the governor. I talked about all the mistakes that Hager made in his letter. It was a shameful, politically motivated letter that had no facts, and of course I won't resign.
You know, guys, I never met quote-unquote Sheriff Israel either. But you don't have to actually have met someone to look at the results of their failed leadership and demand action. Let's move on.
Are you really not taking any responsibility for the multiple red flags that were brought to the attention of the Broward Sheriff's Office about this shooter before the incident, whether it was people near him, close to him, calling the police on him?
Jake, I could only take responsibility for what I knew about. I exercised my due diligence. I've given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership?
I've worked... Yes, Jake. There's a lot of things we've done throughout this. You don't measure a person's leadership by a deputy not going into these deputies received the training they needed.
Maybe you measure somebody's leadership by whether or not they protect the community. In this case, you've listed 23 incidents before the shooting involving the shooter, and still nothing was done to keep guns out of his hands, to make sure that the school was protected, to make sure you were keeping an eye on him. Your deputy at the school failed. I don't understand how you can sit there and claim amazing leadership.
Jake, on 16 of those cases, our deputies did everything right. Our deputies have done amazing things. We've taken this, in the 5 years I've been sheriff, we've taken the Broward Sheriff's Office to a new level. I work with some of the bravest people I've ever met. One person, at this point, one person didn't do what he should have done. It's horrific. The victims here, the families, I pray for them every night. It makes me sick to my stomach that we had a deputy that didn't go in, because I know if I was there, if I was on that wall, I would have been the first in.
I think there are a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people, sir, who think that there are a lot of mistakes other than that one deputy.
Got to be said, people. Leave it to a leftist politician masquerading as a lawman to call a service in office where 17 people wind up dead at a school amazing leadership. It is typical, though. Now I'm going to go back a little bit and reveal a little something to you that you may not have heard other places. I'm going to read part of an article by Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch, which was published December the 6th, 2015. And mind you, quote-unquote Sheriff Israel was in office at that time. The headline on this article is Hamas-linked CARE official giving active shooter training in Florida mosques. And people, if you've never seen anything from Jihad Watch before, and you should if you have listened to my program, you should know that Robert Spencer does a very good job of putting background materials together for his articles. Let's get started. CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in a Hamas terror funding case, so named by the Justice Department. CARE operatives have repeatedly refused to denounce Hamas and Hezbollah as terrorist groups. Several former CARE officials have been convicted of various crimes related to jihad terror. CARE's co-founder and longtime board chairman Omar Ahmad, as well as its chief spokesman Ibrahim Hooper, have made Islamic supremacist statements. A California chapter distributed a poster telling Muslims not to talk to the FBI, and a Florida chapter distributed pamphlets with the same message. CARE has opposed every anti-terror measure that has ever been proposed or implemented, and has been declared a terror organization by the United Arab Emirates. And guys, I'll just say that if you go and listen to my program called Shadows, you will also see that they joined in the cacophony of Muslims who wanted the FBI's anti-terror efforts to be blunted and turned more towards the Islamization of local police departments in the United States of America. I continue. And now Hamas-linked CARE's Nazar Hamzi is giving active shooter training in Florida mosques. What could possibly go wrong? Hamzi is also helping the mosques get DHS money. That's Department of Homeland Security money, by the way, people. Hamzi also is helping the mosque with prevention techniques and also helping the leaders apply for grants given by Homeland Security to religious institutions to beef up their own security. All this is based on the false assumption that mosques are under some kind of violent threat. The real threat is coming from the mosques, not going toward them. But no one seems concerned about that. Now, what really is the significance of this? Nothing in this article mentions, quote-unquote, Sheriff Israel. Well, we're going to get to that. You see, folks, Hamzi, that CARE official that is giving training in mosques across Florida, training that will help Mohammedans mow down Americans when the time comes for them to attack. And there will come a time when the victimhood, so to speak, will be taken off and the violence will begin in earnest. People, what we've seen before isn't what people are experiencing in other countries. When the time comes for the real violence to begin, this Hamzi individual is training South Floridian Mohammedans to be right there in the thick of it. And guess what? He's a Broward County deputy in the service of Sheriff Israel. So not only do we have a yellow-bellied politician who won't even take responsibility for his own leadership and even calls his leadership, quote-unquote, amazing when people get killed, we have an individual who is helping in the training of domestic enemies of the United States of America. Now, people, all of this is reinforced by source documents which I will provide on social media. And welcome back to the Instantly Radio Show with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. Jeff, that was part one.
Guys, thank you for that. Thanks for a great insight. And I've known what's been going on. I have, like any radio host, I've had my very close nose on the ground, exactly what's going on and what he's been up to. He's very nefarious. To put that in that sentence, nefarious, it's just been. I think I've been quite placid about it. He is sort of arrogant, self-centered. Only cares for himself. He pretends that he's really upset about what happened. The only thing he's been upset about is now he's been removed, but he still wants to run for office in 2020. The arrogance of this man is unbounded. I just find him detestable, and I can't imagine why people voted him in to be a sheriff, because that's what you do, don't you? Vote for sheriffs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
when you have elections,
we do.
you vote for sheriffs, etc. I know it's a little bit different over in the States, but I think I'm basically on the mark, and
You're right, Jeff.
But,
you're right. He's more interested in politicking than he is in anything
else. I'm not sure exactly how things go, because also I think they vote, the people, the citizens vote for a mayor, and they vote for the sheriff, don't they? Every time, whenever it comes about, it's probably every 3 or 4 years or something like that. That's how things go. As far as that, but I just find him totally despicable, and I'm so. What we see here is common sense. People, I mean, to see this arrogant person when they're children, as you heard some of the parents were speaking, they were so glad to see some sort of justice because it was handed out, because he was totally disrespecting them as parents. I done a fantastic job. How dare he want to speak like that after there's a massacre in his county? How would you want to talk like that? What, just put yourself on the stage for your Democrat friends.
Yeah.
You want to get in their good books, so you do anything, and it goes against the people. Yeah, typical is what he is. But he does leave a really bad taste. I mean, I'm just thinking of the poor families.
Right.
That their lives are never going to be the same, are they? After their children was just slaughtered in that way, especially running sheriffs was just too chicken shit scared to go in when there were people dying around him. I mean, it's talk about go against what you put there for. I've always thought of police officers doing the duty without care for themselves. To care for the citizens. If there's kids in the school that's under attack, you want to put yourself in front of the kids. You want to be the shield. And some of the teachers did that. They threw themselves in front of kids, not this sheriff and deputy. And of course, no one will ever forget that, because that is a total betrayal of the people. He could have, that sheriff could have entered there, and whatever, if his life was lost, and he'd been classed a hero because he laid his life down to try to take the bad guy out. But no, he just hid around a corner and then made an excuse. He was waiting for backup. Yeah, right. But yeah, Dave, as I say, I'm so glad that some common sense has prevailed over this matter.
Well, we'll see.
Why should he be allowed to run again? I mean, he should be banned from running.
I would think so.
Put him in charge of a burger bar, would you? Or a burger van, Dave. Let's be honest.
I would think so. But the thing is, Jeff, he does a lot of the politicking, and we've got 2 more parts here to get through, and they're each about 10 minutes long. So we may wind up, if you'll allow.
I was going to say before we continue, I'd just like to say congratulations to the American military of taking Baghdadi down. I heard he squealed like a pig when he was actually taken. He cried like a baby. I can't help it. I'm happy to know that because of all what people suffered at his hands, what he told other people to do, the beheadings, etc. I'm glad it was a painful death. I'm glad he died crying because he knew he was going straight to hell. Thank you, Shane. Dave, I just wanted to, before it goes out of my head totally, but I heard what your president said. I think he was quite happy that one of the main bad guys have been taken out of the picture. Yeah, Dave, back to you, brother. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, I'm glad to see him gone. And as I was saying, Jeff, we may need to extend the show tonight. You won't have to talk much. If you're not feeling quite up to talking, because we do have 2 more 10-minute segments of this background on this Sheriff Israel to run. Okay, but I'm going to start the next one, and we'll proceed from there. This is about 9.5 minutes long. This is okay, Jeff, and this will show you. So you asked how he can run again. This will show you some of the politicking the guy does as well. So if you're ready, I'll start this second part. You ready?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll extend it, Dave, but we won't run it to the last half, so it gives you a chance to play the 2 clips without worrying about running down to the wire. So I'm going to put my extension out, Dave.
All right, everybody in the front rows, move back. Okay, we don't need anybody losing an eye again.
Stand well
sick
back.
Of filling out those forms. Yeah, I'm sick of filling out those forms.
Not a very pleasant sight when I've had my extension. It isn't. It's not very...
Yeah.
It's very scary. But I'm just trying to find his time here.
Well, it just depends on thingies. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. Jeff's going to extend the show, guys. We're not going to go the full 2 hours here, but we're going to try and run the show until you guys get to hear the rest of this, and we can comment on it with a little bit of intelligence and whatnot, and that kind of thing. So here you go. I'm going to play the second part.
Well, it's extended and people running.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.